Tonight, we are tracking some possible storms in parts of the state. Thank you so much for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Annette Montgomery.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Let's get right over to meteorologist Sam Sampiri, who's tracking those storms for us tonight. Sam, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple of showers and thunderstorms, a cluster of them that have developed and moved into southwestern Connecticut, basically in the Danbury area right now. There are the lightning strikes down there. And you can see Danbury moving up towards New Milford. You got some heavy cells, Richfield. So these cells now have a history of producing some gusty winds up to 40 to 45 miles per hour, torrential downpours, some lightning, and even a little bit of hail. It's not severe criteria yet, but you put it into motion, you can see how this little cluster here is starting to develop a little bit here. Also, to the north and west here, you have a severe thunderstorm warning with a more widespread line of strong storms, and that's moving into eastern New York State here into the Hudson Valley during the next 10 to 15 minutes. That may also skim us across northern areas during the next hour. Nothing severe here in Connecticut, but I can't rule out the chance that some of these cells could turn into some severe. Look at the cluster out to the west. Right now, very warm, muggy temperatures out there. Dew points are up there too as well. So scattered showers, a couple of storms. Otherwise, tomorrow we have summer warmth. Let's time it out for you. You can see, again, a couple of showers and storms overnight. Otherwise, we'll wake up tomorrow morning with probably some low clouds and fog, much like this morning. And then we'll have temperatures warming back up into the 80s. Coming up, I'll detail your forecast for your Thursday. Will we have more storms tomorrow afternoon? What about Friday and the weekend? Details in a few minutes. Ladies?
Thank you so much, Sam. And tonight, we continue to follow other developing news in New Britain after the city's tax collector has now been fired. And they're accused of years of mismanagement of finances.
Fox 61's Tim Latow has the latest from both the current and former mayors.
The months-long investigation found there were numerous cases of backdating tax payments, as well as poor management of cash, which included leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars unsecured overnight. Mayor Bobby Sanchez says his staff is expanding the investigation after firing the city's revenue collector on tax day. Cheryl Blogoslawski had been on administrative leave for 2 months. Mayor Sanchez says the findings of the investigation point to a breakdown in accountability and oversight, which allowed misconduct for years. The Crombie law firm conducted the external investigation. The firm says the revenue collector's office engaged in a long-standing practice of illegally backdating tax payments. According to the firm, this allowed certain taxpayers to avoid statutory interest. The firm's report states Blogoslawski personally benefited from this. The report also cites multiple times when Blogoslawski left cash unsecured. In one incident, nearly $250,000 was left on top of a safe overnight. The report says the cleaning crew even refused to clean Blogoslawski's office because they didn't want to be involved if any of the money went missing. The investigation says the mayor's office at the time was aware of some of the mismanagement. Sanchez has been mayor since November 2025, and he says some of the wrongdoing dates back to 2015. During that time, former Mayor Erin Stewart was in office. She served as mayor from 2013 to 2025. Former Mayor Stewart responded by saying she at no time ever directed anyone to backdate any payments, and she worked in consultation with the finance department and corporation counsel's office. Stewart went on to call the new information a political witch hunt, trying to discredit her success amid her bid for governor. Earlier Wednesday, Stewart announced her running mate, State Representative Tim Ackert. Stewart says this was an effort to steal her thunder, although it was public knowledge back in February that Blogoslawski was placed on administrative leave during an independent investigation. Mayor Sanchez referred the investigation's findings to the state's attorney's office and says the investigation will expand. It's unclear at this point if any charges will be filed. In New Britain, Tim Latow, Fox 61.
Hartford police are investigating an apparent pipe bomb found in an apartment. Officers were called to Willis Street just after 1 this afternoon, where the device was discovered in a recently vacated unit. The building was evacuated just as a precaution. The Hartford Police Bomb Squad responded and safely disabled the device. No injuries were reported. Police are asking anyone who might have some information about this to come forward. And police are investigating an untimely death in Waterbury after a man was found unresponsive inside an apartment on West Liberty Street this morning.
Fox 61's Celine Arif was at the scene and shares what we know tonight.
Here on West Liberty Street, you can see several police cars parked in front of this home. Police say it's actually an apartment unit, and that's where they found the victim at around 10 a.m. Police say he was pronounced dead. They have not released his name, but shared he was 61 years old. At this time, it's not clear what caused his death, but police are calling it an untimely death investigation. It's also unclear right now who called 911 to report him unresponsive. We talked to several neighbors who shared they saw an ambulance and a fire truck in the morning, but didn't see anything unusual leading up to it. A K-9 unit car was parked at the scene for several hours, and police taped off the entire house to keep everyone out. Neighbors who've lived here for years tell us it's not the kind of street that sees much, if any, police activity, so they're shocked and hope more answers come out soon. Right now, police have released very few details about the case, but they are asking anyone who may have seen or heard something to give them a call. In Waterbury, Solene Arif, Fox 61.
A Bridgeport jury has found Luis Morales guilty in a 2021 murder. Prosecutors say he shot Clinton Taylor during a robbery at a Park Avenue store. Morales was convicted on multiple charges, including murder and robbery. Sentencing is June 17th.
Now to an update on the breaking news story we brought you yesterday afternoon. State officials say a brush fire at Burr Pond State Park in Torrington burned about 8 acres of land after reports of an explosion. Firefighters from multiple departments responded with smoke seen coming from the wooded area. Crews say that fire was difficult to get to due to high winds and rocky terrain, but it was put out around 6:30 last night. Tonight, the cause of the explosion remains under investigation.
Firefighters in Weston responded to a house fire on Davis Hill Road this afternoon. Crews were called just after 2 and found heavy smoke coming from the back of the house. Firefighters were able to put it out. It was in the basement. One person was taken to the hospital, but is expected to be okay. And take a look at this. The Vietnamese restaurant in Old Saybrook caught fire yesterday. Saigon City Restaurant confirmed with us over the phone they're closed. They don't know when they'll reopen. Firefighters say there's minor damage in the kitchen and some damage on the second floor. Officials didn't say what the cause of the fire is.
Tonight, a Westport man is accused of placing an electronic tracking device in his partner's car. Police say Brett Cohen denies intentionally installing that device. Investigators say the victim told them it was used to monitor their movements. Cohen posted a $50,000 bond and recently appeared in court.
A driver is seriously hurt after a crash in Naugatuck. Officers say the car rolled over on Route 8. Firefighters had to extricate that driver from the vehicle. The cause of the crash is under investigation.
2 people are facing charges tonight after a hit and run that injured a motorcyclist in Middletown. Police say that happened Monday at the intersection of Country Club and Higbee Roads. Investigators say Diana Peralta claimed she was driving and left the scene, but video showed a man behind the wheel. 19-year-old Marco Cardova is now charged with DUI and assault with a motor vehicle. Peralta is charged with interfering with an officer.
Take a look at these new images from Ellington Fire Department. They say a car drove into an apartment today. You can see the car not only went through the garage, but ended up halfway through a wall. Firefighters got the driver out and took them to the hospital. They say the driver is expected to recover. The people inside the apartment, thankfully, were not hurt. State police say a self-driving Tesla veered off the road and struck a guardrail. Troopers say this happened Sunday on I-84 in Union. The driver was not hurt and was wearing a seatbelt. Police say she was not distracted. A guardrail was damaged and the cause of the crash is still under investigation. Probably put some pieces together there to figure out
Pretty
what happened.
self-explanatory.
Yeah. New Haven police are searching for a suspect in a pair of robberies linked to online sales.
And officers are now urging buyers and sellers to be cautious about where they meet, warning that these transactions can quickly turn dangerous.
Fox 61's Alicia Hercules is in New Haven with more on the investigation and the safety tips that police are sharing.
The New Haven Police Department encourages people to do any meetups or exchanges here at their police station. Now they're stressing safe exchanges even more after what they are calling 2 robberies during Facebook Marketplace transactions.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Crystal Castro says she uses Facebook Marketplace often. When meeting up with people, she says it's best to meet in a place that's public and not too close to your home.
Usually always do it in the daytime. I never do it at nighttime. and I always do it in a well-lit area.
Police say the first robbery happened Saturday on Batter Terrace just before 6 p.m. Just 2.5 hours later, a second robbery happened on Diamond Street. Christian Bruckhart, the public information officer for the New Haven Police Department, says both victims were selling cell phones on Facebook Marketplace.
The initial meet was for a cell phone. In the first incident, the suspect implied that they had a firearm, and the second, they actually, according to the victim, displayed it.
Investigators believe it was the same suspect in both robberies. Samal Lecrae says hearing about robberies like this is why he does all internet purchase exchanges online.
Once you do your transactions and then you mail the property to them via UPS or FedEx.
If that isn't an option, Bruckhart encourages people to do any internet purchase exchanges in the safest place they can.
We would certainly encourage anyone who's going to have one of these transactions, go to your local police department. You know, we have our sign here that says offer up, but it's for anything.
He says it's also important to trust your instincts when meeting up for the exchanges.
If something feels off, you know, whatever you're buying, whatever you're selling, is it worth it?
Investigators have not yet made an arrest in the two robberies. In New Haven, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.